We gotta have the mic check on this one.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Hello, can you hear me? Beep pop boop boop pop pop. Pop pop boop boop.
What's happening here?
Is that a fucking ad?
No.
We are making so much money. Ty, so let's go. We live, baby.
We live. Here we go.
Echo. All right, boys. We live. It was worked out.
Can you imagine if we went that whole time without knowing that we were without recording, without making any
Dan, it
sense?
is safe to say, Ty saved the podcast.
He did. That's why it's good to have good friends in the pod.
Good friends of the pod. He was here. He's supportive, and he lets us know. And we know he's subscribed because only people that are subbed can talk in the chat.
And it took more than a minute ago.
If this is the truth,
He's good friend of the pod.
shout out to Ty. Love you and appreciate you. So listen, welcome in.
We just gonna start fresh. Let's just start over. Let's just say all the same stuff over again.
We can do that. I can do that.
Give me an intro.
Welcome in, boys. Week 10, Delco Origin Podcast, where two cute boys tell you why you suck at fantasy football.
We got a sponsor this week. This week, our sponsor is Cracker Jacks, a deliciously underrated caramel popcorn treat.
Well,
And
peanuts in there too.
And fun fact, if you don't like caramel corn, you're not going to like Cracker Jacks. So don't even participate in the conversation.
I don't know why you'd have to say it's not good.
I don't know why you would even
like
bring it
caramel corn.
up. Why even join that conversation?
What I did enjoy is we did uncover the closet racist he is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
good friend of the show and minority transaction Ty called it out. We snuffed it out. We don't have time for that.
We can't have it.
We don't stand for it. We are anti-racism.
We accept all popcorns on this podcast.
Cracker Jack. Delicious.
Thanks to our sponsors, keeping the lights on.
Keeping the lights on.
The really well lit lights that we have here in our, let's call it a studio.
It is a studio. It is a shrine. There's just a lot of positivity
got
here.
A bar too that has,
Some good stuff. I might have to indulge.
If you need a beverage,
I might need it. But
let's get into it.
Let's get into the breakdown.
You want to take that first one?
Might as well.
Let's start the outcast plan.
Let's just jump right into it.
Let's jump in.
We got Team Tandon. We got Dom Daddy. He's coming in last again. It's his team name. He's not going to come in last. He's a pretty good squad.
Yeah, he's good.
Tandon pulls it off. 105-93.
I must say there's a little bit of competition for it this week, but he is definitely the grimy Matt of the week.
Grimy Matt of the week. It's I don't know if it's something you want, but it typically results in a win.
That just means that you won just in a really grimy way.
Grime. So you go into Monday Night Football, and you're Dom Daddy, and you have AJ Brown, your number one wide receiver.
Yep.
Expectation is set at 15 points. AJ Brown scores you 15 points, you win the game.
Absolutely.
You feel good?
Absolutely. And
here we are. Dom lost 105-93 because AJ Brown put up 1.7 points. You factor in some for the position and for what Austin Eckler has done. AJ Brown plus Austin Eckler equals 15 points. It's going to be an L every single time for Dom Daddy if that happens. You don't expect that to happen. It's probably never going to happen again for the rest of the year. But that's just that's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. And it hurts as an Eagles fan as well.
It's awful. That was just an awful game yesterday. Oh,
it's just
painful.
Scam. Took sleep from me. Obviously, Mike is showing he's not invincible. He can be beat. Put up 105 points. Cooper Kupp is hurt. Justin Jefferson balled out. He's still really good at football. Crazy catch.
It was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
35.3 points for Justin Jefferson. And that's really all he needed. He coached up Russ a little bit with Kyler out.
Got that little QB whisper going on.
Yeah. Kyler was out for the week because there was double points for Call of Duty. So I expect him back. They gave him a good week to play straight, so he's going to max out that XP. But think of it this way. The Broncos defense, very, very stout defense.
Yes. How about their offense?
There was a quick stat for the Broncos D, and really more so for the team. If the Broncos averaged 18 points a game, they would be 8-1. 18 points in today's NFL. They'd be 8-1. That's how good this defense has been. They are a sub 500 team. Russell Wilson has been bad.
Yeah.
The coaching is young.
Yeah.
But when you have this bad of an offense, the logical thing to do is take your superstar wide receiver who's about to come back in maybe a week, maybe 2 max, and you trade him for Cortland Sutton because you want a piece of this elite offense.
I wasn't going to talk about this yet. But
I hate myself. Anyway, I'm very good at a lot of things, and one of the best things I'm good at is sucking. One of my many skills. That's all I got. Listen, Mike stole this one. It's going to be one of those Tom Brady Rams Super Bowl. It's a ring on his hand. You don't talk about it because it's just another win.
Yeah, it counts. It counts in the standings, but very grimy. Very grimy.
Good friend of the show, and doctor has confirmed Jamar Chase is still on crutches, though. So
there's no scenario where the trade looks good, Evan. We'll come back.
There absolutely is. The way it looks good is if Chase doesn't play another game. Again. That's what I'm saying.
Only way.
That's where my head's at. Listen, right now we can start a nice Cortland Sutton and Jamar Chase tracker from this week. Cortland Sutton's he's got the lead. Take the next matchup. Take the next matchup. I need a beverage. I need a beverage. I can't handle this.
You can go grab something. So I'm going to move on to our next matchup, which is going to be Fit. He's crawling. He really needs something. But we're going for a matchup of 2 at this point 5-5 teams after this week. We're going to go, but it seems like these 2 teams are going completely opposite directions. We got Ty taking the win, 121-86 over Pat. These past 3 weeks, Tom has been one of the best teams in the league. With the injuries that Tannen just had to put up with, there's an argument to be made that you could say that Tom could potentially be the hottest team in the league right now.
Tom's hot.
It's up there. He's hot in multiple ways, physically and fantasyly. You know.
That lines up.
So going through, if you look at the lineup, it's the return of Amon-Ra St. Brown. He started hot and then just hasn't done much recently, but coming in with over 20 points this week. Saquon continuing to just put up points, and Tom finally figured out in a consistent basis. He figured out a quarterback. Tua with over 20 points this week as well.
You know, Dan, you bring up Tua, and obviously he's the one of the gang leaders of the NFL.
Oh, of course.
He's infecting other players. Juju was throwing up gang signs in his game too. Man, just
now, do you think they're in the same gang or are they rival gangs?
I mean, one is a blue team and the other one's a red team. I've been around to know.
We're really stretching the definition of blue, but I'm going to count it.
Baby blue. It's a blue green to you.
I'm still going to count it. Pat, on the other hand, so I forgot also, Dave. It was a fun thing looking at it going into the Sunday game with the Cowboys and the Packers, because I see, it's going to be Pollard versus Zeke here, and then Pollard played and Zeke didn't.
You know, they announced that pretty early.
It was pretty early.
Yeah, they
I did take a look at it and I was like, I feel like he could make a change here, but he didn't. So he got Pat got 0 out of one of his running back spots, and Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry's only putting up 8.7, that's not good. Pat pretty much has no chance. So
I think it's pretty safe to say when you play against someone who plays someone who's inactive, you're going to win the game.
I don't know if you can say that universally.
God damn it.
You'd think so. But I think this week teams that are inactive or had inactive players on their roster were 2-1. I think if I remember correctly.
So you're saying if I just bench someone, I would have a better shot.
You would have been great. Cool. And I will also say, just to make sure that everyone is aware of the distinction, Pat, lowest score of the week. So if he played anybody else this week, as we learned from last week, he still would have lost.
Yep.
So,
math checks out.
Pretty much just a dog shit week for Pat. And he wasn't even hit that hard with buys. So Just a bad week.
I mean, when you don't play Donovan Peoples-Jones, come on.
Tom's still selfish, but he is getting hot.
He gets a hot, and he has Joe Mixon on bye.
And it's very important that we all know that DJ Moore got 6.9 points.
It's hot.
And everyone knows that that's the worst number. 69 is the best number. 6.9 is the worst number because it's trying to be 69, but there's a period in the way.
And he's got Rashad White, who's taking over for Lenny.
Yeah, Fat Lenny's out.
Punishing him for that pick. and Jeff Wilson looks good in Miami immediately, which is who dropped him? I don't know who.
Let's see.
Shame on you.
Let's see. Can we see that? He was dropped. Of course it was Matt.
Good drop.
Good drop, Matt.
A little knee jerk there.
Yeah, Tom's bench is solid. Just getting hot.
Hey, he got to 500. That's important.
I'm good there. Let's go on to the next matchup.
Next matchup we got Roth versus Marco. Marco squeaked it out. The opposite of my first. The Monday night game got it done for him.
So I do want to stop real quick and just say that I was talking to a couple East members about going into Monday night. We had four in the books.
Sure.
And we had an outside chance at 6-0 for the East this week. We needed AJ Brown to do what he wanted to do. That was going to be the easy one.
Easy one.
And then we needed Goddard to do nothing. And that was the one that we knew, that's pretty unlikely.
Yeah.
There's pretty much no chance that happens. And second drive, second drive, I think, that little pop pass for a touchdown to Goddard. It's pretty much all he got all game, but that was enough. That was enough. So then there goes down to potentially 5.
He even had that fumble, which could have cost us the game. If only there's a gruesome face mask that was clear and obvious to everyone.
Let me just rip your face down.
Except for the refs. But even with that, they pulled it off.
Still fuck you, Quest. But anyway, go on. Sorry to interrupt you.
Speaking of that, RIP Dallas Goedert. He's going to miss some time.
Yeah.
Right now, I saw 2 to 4 weeks.
Didn't they put him on the IR? Pretty sure they put him on the IR.
If they put him, that's minimum of 4. So, will DeAndre Swift ever be healthy?
Never fully.
Probably not. That's not good for Marco. Raheem Mostert, nice week. It seems like a true 50-50 split between him and Jeff Wilson, and it's a hot hand type backfield. And both of them were very playable this week. Top 15 backs.
2 starters in the backfield.
Daniel Jones worked out. And what I mean by that is I traded Daniel Jones to Marco. We're not going to talk about who because I already dropped him. Regardless, what I'm trying to establish here is Tom played Dom this week. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did.
For a while, I was attempting to harvest a wide receiver from Dom's team. And one of the quarterbacks I was attempting to trade to Dom, was Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And he let me know Jared Goff is way better. He already has his quarterback and better options at quarterback, mind you. And if Dom did that, he would win.
Fun. Interesting.
Don't forget, we also have the nice Roth bench tracker. Another reason Dom could have won, but didn't.
Oh, thought we were gonna play again. Thought we were gonna play the guessing game.
We could play. We can still play.
All right.
We didn't spoil anything.
All right.
If Dom played someone and they scored 5.3 points, in or out? Bench
obviously in. He obviously played.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
What about 21 points?
21's above the line. He's got to be on the bench.
On the bench, you are correct. He did make one right decision. What about 31.5 points?
Well, you buried the lead. I was going to say on the bench, but I mean, you said the one worked out, so that's got to be the one that worked out, I guess.
It is. Christian Kirk had a wonderful game, 30-plus points. Dom is the only team this year that has lost with a 30-plus point score in his starting lineup.
Ooh, that's a fun fact.
That's a fun one. Now, Dom played Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Of course. Why wouldn't you?
Who
There's
wasn't
so much talent?
Who wasn't a scratch? Who played 4 snaps in the game? Put up good 0 points. So he got goosed by an active player. The one positive on Dom's side is he still doesn't know when to play Amari Cooper.
He doesn't know when to play any of his players. His
trade me one.
His start-sit decisions are genuinely some of the worst I've seen ever. It's consistently terrible.
It's probably cost him half of his games at this point. Like he could have beat.
This would have been an easy win.
He could potentially be the reigning East champions. I mean, not really.
No,
he's not touching you or
Let's not go that far.
He could be in playoff contention right now.
Possibly. It could have gotten him 2 more wins. He could be 4-6.
He could be averaging over 100 points a week.
He could be. That's dreaming big.
But he's still not. But we're here. Alvin Kamara shit the bed. So this does bring his threshold with Scary Terry on the bench to we're 10 weeks in, and he has left 17 points or more on the bench 12 times. It's almost a skill at this point. Credit when credit's due, Dom. It's not all hate. You did break 100 this week. What's next?
Nice shot, Dom. And I do before we move on from Dom, I will say that not only after this game is he in the bottom of our power rankings, spoiler alert, but now he is also officially at the bottom of the rankings as of the standings.
Hey,
so
okay,
he finally is down where he belongs. All right, so I am going to move on to our next matchup of Ty versus Mark. Ty comes up with a big win for the East.
Good friend of the pod.
Good friend of the pod. Comes up with a big week with 141 points to Mark's 112 points. It's a little bit of a bittersweet week for me because I've been so positive about Mark's decision to draft Devontae Adams over Cooper Kupp. And I just feel vindicated, you know? You don't want to see somebody get hurt, but just to be vindicated like I was this week is just, it's a good feeling, you know.
Before you jump further, you're taking the good friend of the pod, Ty's matchup. Our transaction counter update. Ooh. Ty is back on top, leading the pack. No one is within 5. He has 62 total transaction with Matt behind him at 55.
I think I just saw somebody drop off his roster as we were sitting here talking.
I mean, nope, that's just the empty space and tight end. He did not want to roster.
You know how we talked about those teams that were 2-1 with an empty roster spot. Well, in a way, they both had an empty roster spot this week.
At least Ty
did it on purpose. Ty goes into this week just telling Mark that he just does not respect him and leaves the tight end spot empty. And Mark decides that he is going to return the favor and start Eno Benjamin, and who gets cut before the game ends. I mean, it might as well have been before the game ended. Got absolutely nothing from one of his starting running backs. Excuse me. Mark is just suffering a little bit from Jalen Hurts' decisions recently to just not run the ball. He's not getting those rushing yards anymore. And that's kind of hurting him. That's just kind of having him a ceiling of like 20 to 25 points. When earlier in the year you're getting in the 30s from Jalen Hurts. That's tough to see because he could have potentially with some rushing yards, maybe he could have matched Mahomes going up there with 32 points. Just Mahomes out there just continuing to kill it from the quarterback position. Basically being what I had hoped Lamar Jackson would be, but never ended up being. Ty's still struggling to find a running back too, because this week he had 2 running back ones. Just consistently can't find that running back too.
It must make me feel stupid about saying, why'd you trade away Zeke when Connor's back and Zeke's playing?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I never liked that trade. Helped out Ty too much. But basically, we got Ty. Ty comes in, solid week. Dalvin Cook really just back to form. Those early season struggles are a thing of the past. James Conner back from injury. Sent Eno Benjamin to fucking a black hole somewhere. I don't know.
The street.
This is absolutely just took the guy's job and ran with it. Diggs and Hill obviously are just continuing. This is not one of Hill's better games, but if one of your bad games is 15 points, you're doing really well as a fantasy player. So they all put up enough to cover the empty tight end position. And actually, I did mean to say that Ty or Mark did two things to try to accommodate for Ty leaving that tight end spot empty. Not only did he have a basically inactive player, but he also decided to get 0 points from his tight end position as well. Trying to go with that, the trick play Taysom Hill guy as his tight end.
Hey, he had 1 yard rushing.
Only Tom can figure that out. I don't know why. It always works out for Tom. Doesn't work out for anybody else. So going for the loophole didn't work for Mark here. We don't have out of respect, and just because I don't want to brag about how right I was, we don't have the Devontae Adams Cooper Cup scoreboard. Just not pissing on somebody's grave. That just seems disrespectful. All right, Mark, calm down. Jesus fucking Christ. So, second highest points of the week to Ty. So big week for him, coming back strong. Did have a couple lax weeks in the past few, but seems to be
big
he's
East,
really coming back.
Big East week.
Big East week.
Gotta feel good about the East.
Big East week.
I'll jump in.
Go for it.
Obviously, have your matchup here.
Mm-hmm.
Bink versus Matt. So Dan, you won this matchup,
I did not let him grind one.
but Matt did do his thing. He barely put up points, but you didn't do your part. So he put up 95, 96 points. Now you're supposed to put up 85, 90.
85, sure.
So I guess your team name buffered that and said, you can't grind this dick.
Grind this dick.
So here we are. No grind for Matt this week. Dan, your top 3 scorers would have beaten Matt. Just 3.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good week.
It's a pretty good week.
So Justin Fields had a good game. I would say above average. I'd probably say the best of his year. But I'd like to tell you why he's a piece of shit. So
it's a fair reason.
He lost this game for his team. He threw a pick 6. What did this do to your fantasy day? Not much.
Nothing.
You got 43 instead of 45 points. But what did this do to me?
And that's what really matters.
I had
that's
a
really
9-leg parlay.
Yeah.
That would have won me $800 if Justin Fields doesn't throw that pick and the Bears win by 3. I went 8 for 9. I'm very upset. Justin Fields threw for 167, threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for 2 touchdowns, ran for 147 yards. But it cost me money. And it cost his team the game, which is probably kind of important for him.
That's important.
But Matt still has Josh Jacobs, probably one of the best dead zone value running backs.
Yep, absolutely.
Of him. Great game, 22 points. But no one else broke 14 on his entire team. He does get some of his key guys back from the bye, so that's good news for him. So now he can grind around 110, 115. Dan, I have to be fair and unbiased. You fucked up your start set decisions.
I did.
You can't make these types of mistakes this late in the season, and I can't have it again.
Can't have that.
Fat Lenny. If you just sit Fat Lenny and you play Singletary, you put up 169 points. I just want to let you know, you left that off the table.
I did.
You still scored the most of the week. So
imagine scoring this many and losing. How's Tom still alive? I don't know how he did it. I still don't know.
But it's safe to say that you let all of us down.
I'm sorry.
And just be better.
I'm sorry.
That's all I have. I'm still
This is the CeeDee Lamb I thought I drafted. Very excited about that.
CeeDee Lamborghini. That's why I coined it. Why did Justin Fields throw that pick?
I don't know.
I really would have liked that money.
I have no say in this.
Piece of shit. Before we move to the next matchup,
Mm-hmm.
you have Lamar Jackson back from bye.
I do.
You still have Justin Fields on your team.
I do.
What's the plan?
Playing Justin Fields.
Shopping Lamar or stashing Lamar?
If anybody's wants to give me a good little receiver, I'll take some calls from Lamar.
I mean, if you need a receiver,
I was told that he was washed and awful and had no trade value from a grimy little piece of shit. So, see if anybody else agrees with that.
that's a hot take.
The guy that tried to trade Najee Harris for Saquon Barkley after week 3.
Delicious treat. All right, Dan.
Let's move on to
waiting for this one.
You okay, buddy?
No.
You okay?
Nope.
Can we talk about the trade?
How about Chase for Lamar? Ty, go fuck yourself.
Can we talk about the trade?
No.
Why?
What is there to talk about? I sent out a bunch of trade offers. No one fucking wanted to hurt ass Chase. Ty was scamming and talking about I need to wait 6 weeks before I don't want to wait that long. I want someone to score points now. And I sent out a bunch of trade offers. Most of them got declined.
I didn't get any trade offers.
You didn't even you showed no interest in me. Anyway, so I sent out a trade offer to Mark when I was at work, and then I forgot about it. And then I had 6 declined trade offers for Chase, and I was like, oh, I guess I got to hold on for him for a week. And then I look up, I got a notification on my phone at 9 p.m. that the trade offer's been accepted. I was like, I forgot about that one. That wasn't a good one. I was like, whatever. Here we are.
I just I wanted to decline it or to veto it just because of why. But the one thing if Sutton was even contributing in some form or fashion, but it's not really. But anyway, let's get into your matchup.
12.6 points.
Let's get into your matchup today.
So many more points than Jamar Chase. 12.6 points. That's not a bad outing by Mr. Sutton.
4 Cortland Sutton? No, that's not a bad outing.
Maybe he just needed me. Maybe he'll be on the waiver wire next week.
Sure. So, if you're willing to give up any of your other injured players that are coming back in 3 days,
both of them are actually. I've read reports both Hollywood Brown and Mike Williams will be back in the next 2 weeks. I
am very curious to see Hollywood Brown and DeAndre Hopkins what the targets are going to look like after that. It's going to be an impact on my team that I don't like.
It would be, and it's going to be an impact on mine. But I'm going to have the slot and the other side of Hop, so I might be playing 2 Cardinals every single week.
It's just hopefully there's a lot of targets. So let's go through this matchup because I'm not sure if anybody here has heard, but Jason Gardner, the enigma of the Delco Origins Fantasy Football League, who I promise you exists. He is a person. He is real. He beat you. The 3-7 Bink has a tiny weenies takes down.
He was
7-3.
He was 2.
I know he was 2-7. You were 7-2, but now I'm just going.
I'm so happy I could be a part of an Aaron Rodgers get right game.
Yep.
Who, by the way, you said was awful and he was going to shit the bed.
I did.
And the return party of Jonathan Taylor. I'm so happy that happened all the same week for me.
When you get Jeff Saturday, the obviously experienced coach coming in and being the head coach, obviously it's just going to all start working out, right? But on your side, it's you got decent performances from some of your players. Brady got 16, Chubb got 15, Rondell Moore got 18. They're not bad games. Sutton came through with probably his best game of the year, 12.6.
Top 2 for sure performance.
But when you're starting 2 Denver Broncos, I know it's 3, but that's the defense. I was individual players, they're good. So that doesn't apply. That's not good. You did have one bad start-sit decision. I understand why you did it, but Josh Allen's playing. You got to get him in on the field.
Here's the deal: Tom Brady, 9:30 a.m. start game.
Oh, absolutely. I get that.
And Josh Allen still has a serious injury, and he just played through it. And there's a lot of speculation of what he could possibly do, if he was going to be good, if he was going to be bad. They have 16 points. Brady has 16, and Allen has 17 points. if this game stays in regulation. It went to
Yeah.
overtime, so we got some extra rushing yards. I don't feel bad about that. I will say this. I am happy that's not the difference in the game.
Yeah.
I
That would've been tough.
would not be podcasting right now
No.
if that was the
That would've
difference in
been
the
tough.
game.
So I brought up Dave Njoku's player profile just to check to see what time it came out that he's been ruled out for Sunday's game. And it was Friday, November 11th at 12:53 p.m.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It came out that
Yeah.
David Njoku was not playing this week. And Jason decided to play him, or have him in his lineup, even though he had Dalton Schultz on his bench.
On his return. Like, I saw it, and I was like,
What are you doing?
if Schultz plays, I lose. Guess what? Didn't matter. Didn't matter.
Oh, man. Aaron Rodgers finally does something against Evan. Jonathan Taylor finally does something against Evan. Miles Sanders kind of sucked. Everybody else really kind of sucked, but it all added up to just enough to give you that third loss in a row and just absolute devastation.
This is not good for my mental health. This is not good for my playoff plan. I have a lot. I get the hottest team in the league next week. I get Tom next week. It's not good. This is not good.
Got a little hot boy, a little selfish hot boy coming after.
I just, if I get Mike Williams and Hollywood Brown back, I think I'll be fine. However, I'm not okay right now. It's just not.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Watson still thinks that you're making the playoffs, and that's what really matters.
I mean, I do. I'm still 7-3, but the issue is I was 7-0.
Yeah.
And when you play Jason, you get a win.
You get to 8-2.
I hate fantasy football.
Yeah.
Why do I spend so much time on this stupid shit?
I don't know.
So obviously we're not doing the Cup Adams head to head.
Out of respect, Mark.
Out of respect. Do we revive the JT CMC matchup?
I mean, if he's going to split carries with Elijah Mitchell at this point, just the fuck's going on with that?
I don't think this is acceptable for
Fucking
YouTube
gosh.
Live, so I won't say that out loud. This is a cry for help. How far can I take this? Waiver wire hype. Little extra ad that I'll throw up here. Allen Robinson taking over for Cooper Kupp? ? Cole Kmet, dominant. Last 3 games, 5 touchdowns.
Big passes, big touchdowns. Just getting along with Justin Fields.
Julio Jones in 2022? Probably not.
I'm not going to, but maybe.
Odell Beckham Jr. to announce this week what team he's going to.
At some point, Ty's going to pick him up to add to the
I don't know when the speculation becomes, or he signs at this team and then how many weeks it takes for him to play. But that's a name.
Yeah.
He's got a big name.
It's a name for sure.
Power rankings. I put these together, Dan.
Let's do it.
I'll start from the bottom.
Start from the bottom?
Yeah. Number 12, we spoiled it earlier in the podcast.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's surprised by this.
Dom Roth,
Dom Roth.
2-8,
2-8.
averaging under 100 points a week.
Still.
Marco, also 2-8. Pulled off the win against the aforementioned Roth, and almost 200 points more than Roth, and almost 250 points more scored against. So the bad luck bug, as well as
his
won
points
that,
against is
he won that
crazy.
head to head. Although Jay did beat me, he just fucked a corpse essentially, and so it does nothing for him.
But it just keeps him above Tom.
Keeps him above Tom, 3-7. Coming in number 9, we have Matt, the Grime himself, 4-6.
Grimy.
Then we got Pat at 5-5, coming in number 8. Another 5-5 at number 7 is Mark Deal.
Told you we overrated him.
I'll just
going into the top half, dropping down to number 6.
It's too high.
Tough to see.
It's too high.
Even at a 7-3 record, just kind of going on the downhill at this point. Got Evan at number 6.
Shambles. I don't talk about it.
Number 5, real tough loss could have been much higher, but Dom Daddy comes in at number 5 after that loss.
Thanks, AJ Brown.
To 10, and yeah, it all comes on hobbled AJ Brown, just vaulting up high into the power rankings this week. One of the hottest teams in the league. We've already talked about it. Is Tom, even though he's 5-5, got him up in the 4th spot, and then I'm in at number 3 after a nice win this week at 6-4, and Ty's up there at number 2. It's going to be tough to. These top 2 seem like they're kind of penciled in these top 2 spots. We'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. But Ty at 7-3. There is some luck for Ty. We do have to say he has the fewest points scored against him. That's just solid defense. Defense wins championships. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that.
They always say
can't take that away.
Marco, why are you having all those points scored against you? You should just play defense.
Gotta play defense. And obviously, a number 1 team. Still, even though he grinded out a win, it was still a win at 8-2. Mike taking the top spot in the power rankings.
So even with the grind win, still the highest point scored. So respect there.
It would take a decent amount of effort for anybody to take over that top spot from Mike.
For sure.
Even Watson agrees.
That might not be a good
thing.
You got anything else, Dan?
I don't, man. See you next week.
Let's shut it down. Bye.
Hit the button.
Doing it. We run this league.
Represent for the Browns.
Cleveland.
Our diversity's in shambles.